In this video, we will look in depth at the Employer Confirmation Guide, or ECG, and why it is important to your qualification. The ECG is a document completed by your supervisor or manager and contains a series of statements that must be ticked to say that you are competent in that area of work. Each section of the ECG relates to your qualification and includes topics such as health and safety, working with others, coordinating work on site, and most importantly, performing work on heating and ventilation systems. The ECG is proof that you have reached the required standards on site and are ready to complete the project for Level 3. Once each of the sections have been completed by your employer, the document will be handed in and checked by your assessor. When it is handed in, you must have evidence of the work you have completed to back up this document. This is the reason we are asking you to collect evidence of the work you complete on site. If you do not have enough evidence to support the ECG when it is handed in, you will not be able to progress to the on-site project or finish your qualification. There are many ways you can collect evidence of the work you do on site, including photographs of work you have completed, videos of you working, written statements and diary accounts of the work you complete, documentation such as job sheets, testing results, and customer sign-off sheets, witness testimonies from people you have worked with, completing evidence sheets supplied by your assessor. Now we understand the background to the ECG. Let's take a look at what you need to achieve and have signed off by your supervisor in each unit. Unit 312 is about showing that you can work safely and protect yourself, other people, and the environment. You need to show that you can follow your company's health and safety procedures and complete the required paperwork correctly. You need to prove that you can identify and deal with at least 6 different types of workplace hazards. You also need to show that you can report hazards to the correct person and make sure other people are working safely. You will need to explain how you would respond to at least 2 different emergencies, such as a fire, electric shock, flood, or injury. You must also show that you use PPE, tools and equipment correctly, and follow the correct procedures for storing and disposing of waste. Unit 313 is about communicating and building good relationships with customers and other people. You need to make sure you have the correct information about the job and understand the system you have installed or maintained. You then need to be able to explain the system to the customer and show them how to use it safely. You also need to check that the customer's requirements have been met and that the system is working correctly. At the end of the job, you need to complete a proper handover and provide the customer with the information they need. Unit 314 is about organising people, materials, and work so that the job is completed safely, correctly, and efficiently. This unit is aimed at showing that you can take responsibility for organising other people and making sure work is completed safely and correctly. You must give clear instructions and check that they understand what is required. You may also need to coordinate with other trades and contractors working on the same job. You need to monitor the work and make sure it is safe, meets the specification, and follows current regulations and industry standards. You also need to complete the correct paperwork and show evidence of at least 3 different workplace procedures, such as risk assessments, RAMs, accident reporting, or customer service. You must also work with at least 2 different types of relevant people to resolve problems. Unit 322 is all about preparing, fabricating, and installing heating and ventilation pipework systems. Before starting any work, you need to check that you have the correct drawings, job information, and paperwork. You also need to make sure that your tools, equipment, and access equipment are safe and suitable for the job. You will need to demonstrate the safe use of equipment, such as generators, low-voltage transformers, lifting equipment, and access equipment. You also need to check that the services available on site are suitable for the system you are installing. You must cover 3 of the following: electricity, water, gas, or oil. Before starting the installation, you need to complete a suitable risk assessment and method statement. This must include the PPE you will need for the work. You will need to demonstrate this work in either a new build or an existing building. You must also cover a non-domestic environment, such as a commercial, industrial, agricultural, or public services building. Next, you need to select the correct pipework, equipment, components and accessories for the job. You must check that they are suitable for the working environment and follow the manufacturer's instructions. You will also need to measure and mark out the positions for at least 5 different items. These could include pumps, valves, heat emitters, filters, supports, or pipework. You then need to prepare, fit, fix, and connect the pipework and components. You must include at least 3 different jointing methods. These could include press fit, threaded, grooved, flanged, or compression joints. You also need to install at least 3 different types of pipework system. These could include hot water, heating, cold water, chilled water, or steam systems. Once the installation is complete, you need to inspect the system before it is commissioned. You will carry out pressure testing to check the integrity of the system. You also need to test at least 3 different types of equipment or components. These could include pipework and fittings, valves, heat emitters, or heat exchangers. You will also need to clean and flush at least 3 different types of systems. You will need to safely decommission one of the required types of system. This means following the correct procedures and making sure the system is left in a safe condition. You must make sure it cannot accidentally be switched back on or become dangerous. Finally, you need to complete the required paperwork and record your work. Once the ECG has been completed and all your evidence has been submitted, you can then start preparing for your Level 3 project. This involves planning a series of tasks at work where you will be seen in action by your assessor, who will mark and record the work you have completed. This will eventually lead to a professional discussion with an assessor from EAL and the awarding of your Level 3 certificate.